Hangman lands on his feet. Clothesline attempt, boot though from Omega, and a chop.
So Omega doesn't lose the advantage. Looked like he was going to be countered. He didn't lose the advantage, and now here's Page.
Oh!
Now he has lost the advantage.
And now, he prepared for Joey Janela, defeated Sonny Kiss. He trained for Rey Fenix, overcame Penta El Zero Miedo, leading him to the finals of the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament. He was the winner of the 2017 IWGP United States Heavyweight Title Tournament. He has held 16 different singles titles, including his current 13-month reign as AAA Mega Champion. He has headlined more pay-per-views, scored more AEW singles wins, has a better AEW winning percentage, and has 8 more years experience than Hangman Page. In addition to a 1-0 career singles record versus his opponent tonight, who lives near, but is not from, North Carolina, he is Kenny
Well, Don, the Streeter ladies are back with Kenny. I got to ask you, I think a lot of folks would like to know, how does he get the name the Cleaner?
You know what? Kenny Omega is a video game guru, JR, and he transcends video games into pro wrestling, into business, and that's what he's doing here tonight with this.
JR, to answer your question, it's because back in the day, he used to blow into the cartridge of the NES games to keep it clean.
Wow.
All right, well.
That's really old school.
Well, there he is, ladies and gentlemen, Kenny Omega. And many of us have been waiting on Kenny to retain, regain, reinvigorate, whatever, reinvent that Kenny Omega we saw in New Japan.
JR, you and I were both there to call some of those matches. Those are matches that changed the wrestling industry, and I'm hoping we're going to see a repeat performance tonight.
Important to underline that in this World Title Eliminator Tournament final match, there is no time limit. There must be a winner between these two men who held the AEW World Tag Team Championship for the bulk of 2020.
Now, interesting, I had that one-on-one interview with Kenny Omega recently, and how he feels that he is more of a singles wrestler, and he really considers his partner still a tag team wrestler. But let's face it, Hangman Page got that first world title shot in AEW when we first started.
So this is as close as Page has gotten to getting back in the serious conversation about the AEW title, the world title. And Don, we all know in wrestling, everybody's here for the money, and everybody's here to be the champion.
Absolutely, and Kenny Omega has heard the critics. He's here to shut them up tonight.
And his opponent, from Aaron's Creek, Virginia, weighing 228 pounds, Hangman Adam Page!
I saw Page just about 10 minutes ago, and he looked like the old proverbial cliche, a bunch of long-tailed cats in a room full of rocking chairs. He looked a little edgy. Maybe that's good. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. I don't know him that well, but he looked very, very tight.
Well, a lot of pressure on both men tonight, eh, Excalibur?
Most certainly, perhaps the most of their AEW careers. Adam Page, when you interviewed him this past Wednesday night, he said that nobody believed that he could win the AEW World Championship when he faced Chris Jericho, except for Hangman, and Hangman let himself down that night.
He also mentioned he was nervous, and I asked him about that, which I do not perceive to be a weakness. Having nerves is good for all of us.
If you're not nervous in this game, JR, you're not focused.
Well said, Don. I tell you, and not only that, you were concerned. You mentioned him about his drinking. That's been everybody's concern about him maybe pulling back one or too many, but I don't think that's a problem with him. I think he can stay focused, and it looks like he's pretty focused right here.
No handshake. Former tag partners, tag champs for a long time here in AEW.
No handshake. This is the second ever meeting between Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega in one-on-one competition. The first happened about 2.5 years ago, Wrestling Dontaku in New Japan Pro Wrestling, the first night of that great event. Don, you were on hand to call the action.
I was. I've been fortunate to be there for many of those big matches in Japan, and don't forget, Adam Page watched those too. Kenny Omega was a legend in Japan, so maybe that's in his head a little bit too.
Could be. Fame travels.
Oh!
Ooh, Hangman went for the sliding lariat. Kenny a step quicker. V-trigger avoided by Page. Blistering chop across the throat.
Right in the throat, man.
Yeah, normally those hit the chest, but that wasn't the oh, right back he goes.
Mano a mano here.
We're going to see a lot of that tonight, I bet.
Omega's chops are brutal. He's got very large hands. That helps him with the impact. Ooh, back chop.
And a front one to follow it up.
I'm a little partial, Don. You know, in all due respect to Kenny, I love his game. But Page is a heavy striker. He is really has, at the point of impact, he adds a little something.
Snap Rana immediately. Page bails out to the outside, creating some distance between him and Kenny Omega.
But of course, if I know that, we know that Kenny Omega knew that yesterday.
Kenny Omega is known for doing his homework. Terminator clap ringing out here in Jacksonville.
Kenny Omega looking to rise to the occasion and terminate.
It's coming in the
Adam
ring.
Page, but Hangman,
Well scouted, well scouted.
You're not kidding. Great anticipation by Page. He was waiting for it.
Now, Page has got an advantage. He's got momentum. He feels it. Can he close the deal here? Can he shut this thing down and keep Omega down? Or is he going to fade off someplace and let Omega recover?
Well, he's letting Omega recover right now, and I'm surprised about this.
Page has definitely got a power advantage, guys. Omega's power comes from his explosion. He can go from 0 to 100 faster than any athlete I've ever seen.
Kilometers or miles?
Miles, baby.
Thanks for clearing that one up.
We're not in Winnipeg tonight, Excalibur.
Hangman, though, bringing Omega in the hard way.
Covers. Cover. Here we go. A tight cover, a lot of pressure, and it took a lot more energy, therefore, for Kenny Omega to free himself. Things like that will take a toll on any athlete.
You can see how well these two men know each other. It was a great counter by Page that time, and this is going to come into play. We've talked about it throughout this match, the familiarity between these two.
We don't have to worry about countouts because, as Excalibur mentioned earlier, this is no time limit. There must be a winner tonight.
To get to the finals of the World Title Eliminator Tournament, Hangman Adam Page had to defeat Colt Cabana and Wardlow. Kenny Omega had to defeat Sonny Kiss and Penta El Cerro Miedo. Both late additions to the tournament and both tag team wrestlers typically. Don, do you think Kenny may have had a bit of an advantage?
You know, I think the advantage Kenny's had is I think there was something in him that said, I'm not a tag team wrestler. And once he let himself loose in those singles matches, it's been a different Kenny Omega those last two matches, in my opinion.
Surprised this thing went down to the floor this quickly into the match. I thought it would develop much more in the ring, but man, yeah, I guess animosity for what happened, how they lost. I'm sure that's still in their minds, how they lost the tag team championship. At least it's in Page's mind.
I like the strategy of Hangman Page switching it up. You mentioned, JR, they know each other well. Throw something different out there that he's not expecting, out on the floor.
And Hangman once again sending Kenny into the barricade.
Oh, amazing agility and athleticism. Omega balanced himself on that railing. Came back with a Hurricane Rana.
Page looked away for a split second and got nailed with that incredibly athletic moonsault by Omega. Here we go.
Or moonsault, I should say. Thank you, Don.
Yeah, Kenny, he actually leapt over the barricade, was on that retaining bar.
Man, that's just amazingly athletic. Amazingly athletic by Omega.
Great balance, JR. In effect, that was a steel tubing on top of that outside rail.
Kenny comes over the top, Kotaro Crusher. Covers the near leg, hooks the near leg.
Also called a leg lace back in my day, as Tony Gurria would say.
Kenny, we've seen this in the past couple weeks, increasingly has begun talking to himself. Don, you've known Kenny since, as you mentioned, 10 years old. The Golden Sheik, his uncle, was...
he trained me as a wrestler.
And, I mean, has Kenny always been like, I haven't seen him speak to himself this much.
He's an introspective guy who likes to keep himself on point. Kenny Omega was going to be drafted in the NHL as a goalie at age 16. He chose to pursue a career in pro wrestling, and it's been wonderful.
Well, Kenny used to talk to Hangman Adam Page throughout their match. Now he has no one to talk to but himself.
Kenny cuts Hangman off at the pass, hoists him up in the fireman's carry. Could be looking to cinch up those.
It's like he tweaked his knee there, maybe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Uncharacteristic stumble from Omega. Could have been all that damage on the outside.
Hell bit for leather. Omega still goes for it.
And Kenny will beat himself up for that one. He does not like missteps. He's a perfectionist, always has been.
Right leg, is the right leg or the left leg? He's touched both of them, and somewhat of
And notice this,
agility.
grabs the front chancery, just trying to keep Hangman down on the mat, trying to slow down the pace. I think Kenny may be in his head a little bit about that left knee.
That's recovery offense, Excalibur.
Yep.
Recovery offense is what this is. Omega has control with the head and that chancery, but he's letting that wheel get a little bit of air back in the tire.
And he realizes there's no time limit, so he can take his time to find the move, to find the maneuver that's just right.
And Tony, I think the longer this match goes, the more it favors Omega, who's not as heavy a hitter, I think, as we've said, as Adam Page.
But he is a conditioning freak. Kenny Omega has wind for days, fuel for days, and I think, yes, in a marathon, he can outlast Hangman Adam Page.
You used marathon, I'm going to use slugfest, what we've seen so far. Wow.
These guys are bringing it, no doubt
Hangman.
about that.
Oh!
Innovative clothesline by Hangman Adam Page, who again relies on his striking ability to gain any offensive advantage.
And I think the story of this match so far has been how familiar each are to be able to know what the other one is going to do, to be able to counter it. We saw it right there.
Hangman, whoa, nobody home.
Kenny knew that.
Yeah, he suckered him there.
Hangman coming in, baseball drop kick. Baseball slide drop kick knocks Hangman back to the barricade.
I think that to move over the top by Page was a major mistake. Didn't need to do it. He was in control. Why take an unnecessary risk of that magnitude?
Terminator clap once again. People want to see it.
Here it comes.
Kenny Omega.
Wow.
Tope con hero.
And there is no one in professional wrestling that hits that dive with the explosion and the snap of the hips that Omega does.
You know, Don, you said the right word, explosion. It was so explosive that Page did not have a chance to react to it.
You see there, Kenny Omega struggling to pull himself up to a vertical position. He has to launch off those legs. That's the explosion, but if his knee was injured earlier, that may have taken a lot more out of his legs than it typically does.
He may not have gotten the height that he wanted, ideally, but he was accurate as hell.
The one thing, those long matches, some of them over an hour, that we witnessed in Japan, JR, with Omega and Okada, etc., is that you don't panic. And he's not going to panic because his knee is tweaked. He's not going to panic because he's at a disadvantage. He's in this for the long term.
Omega proved to the world that he was the top guy, one-on-one competition, with those 3 matches with Okada, which are priceless.
Drop kick, takes down Page, covers, deep hook.
So big match experience, Don, to your point, plays a big role in this because we already know the anxiety. And the two guys they both want this so much that their anxiety levels have got to be, topping the charts here.
It's like a quarterback, like a Tom Brady, who gets in there and he's got 1 minute left, but for him it feels like an hour. For someone else, it feels like a panic. And I think Omega's got that level of calmness to him in these situations.
I want to remind everybody that this Tuesday night at 6 o'clock Eastern, AEW Games, a project very near and dear to Kenny Omega's heart. We will have a very special announcement on YouTube, youtube.com/AEW Games. 6 o'clock Eastern this Tuesday night.
Will you be there, Excalibur?
I most certainly will be.
Boy,
I'm proud of you.
This still can be anybody's match. Kenny is the greatest tournament wrestler in the world. We know that. But Page,
One-winged angel.
One-winged angel attacked. He almost got it.
yeah, he
Hangman looking made for his own.
Great counter. Great counter.
I've been thinking one-winged angel as well, I think.
But who better to know how to counter it than Kenny Omega?
Well, that's the thing that Page told me in the interview on Wednesday. I know all Kenny's moves and every escape. Now, some of that's obviously bravado. I get that. But he's probably got a good point.
Oh! Bang! The V-trigger. The anti-air from Kenny Omega.
Predictability can kick you right in the face.
Don, the first time these two men met 2.5 years ago, it was Kenny Omega that countered the buckshot lariat of Hangman Page with the V-trigger. Do you think Hangman is going to make the same mistake again?
Well, he better avoid it because the V-trigger on its own has got enough snap to
Whoa,
put
no.
you out.
Uh-oh.
He caught him here.
Stop putting somebody out.
Hangman was looking for Deadeye on the ramp.
And Omega made a very timely escape there.
Desperation forearms for Omega got him out of trouble. Now he's going to look maybe for a powerbomb on the ramp.
Watch out.
Ooh, Hangman lands on his feet. Clothesline attempt, boot though, from Omega to chop.
So Omega doesn't lose the advantage. Looked like he was going to be countered. He didn't lose the advantage, and now here's Page.
Oh!
Now he has lost the advantage.
Thunderous powerbomb. driving all of the oxygen out of the lungs of Kenny Omega.
And smartly rolling Omega back in the ring and not leaving him on the ramp. He wants to win this match.
Can't believe Omega's back on his feet.
Oh, pop-up powerbomb, covers, no! So close.
A lot of guts by Kenny Omega because his body's just been racked. Canonian, that's not padded out there. There's a piece of carpet and wood. It's like getting knocked down your kitchen.
Oh. And you see how Kenny's head whiplashed back too.
For those of you that have carpeted kitchens.
Wow. These two guys are having an ass-kicking opening match in this program.
See, the slobber knocker variety, I might add.
Right.
And the man that wins this match will get a shot, will be the first man to get a shot at the winner of our main event here tonight, Jon Moxley or Eddie Kingston, that I Quit match for the AEW World Championship.
Omega smartly grabbing that ankle, trying to prevent any more high-impact moves until he can get his head together.
Very well said, Don. That's great sound strategy. It's amazing these top flight athletes can come up with this strategy when they've been beaten all over the place.
This is the best I've seen Hangman Page look, and he always looks great. But tonight, it looks special to me for Adam Page.
And Don, I mean, he was AEW World Tag Team Champions alongside Kenny Omega for 228 days. You have to imagine Hangman Page learned a thing or two just watching from the corner on Kenny Omega performing inside the ring.
You folks might wonder what it's like to be here at the amphitheater outdoors. Got a big roof here. It's 74 degrees here right now. It's perfect. Perfect to come out. And we're going to be here next Wednesday as well, Tony.
Yeah, we are. We're going to be back here for another live Dynamite this coming Wednesday. I'm telling you, you're talking about two men who dominated the tag team scene in the greatest tag team competition in the world in AEW. And now look what they're doing here. They're both using their dominant traits, and they're just absolutely hammering each other.
This is now ego. They each want to show each other what they can take. Watch out!
Rolling elbow strike just starched Omega.
Yeah, Omega. Omega lured him in that time.
Point of the chin.
Omega hoists up Hangman Tiger Driver 98.
That might be all.
Slow to cover though. Two.
Because of the cover Kenny Omega was looking for, his arms and Page's feet got tangled up, and he couldn't execute the cover that he wanted. But it was great offense until that point.
Maybe still feeling the effects of that power bomb on the ramp, JR.
Could be.
Absolutely spikes him, and JR, I think you're right. Had that cover been a heartbeat sooner, Kenny Omega may have won this match and won the shot at the AEW World Champion.
And what a brilliant way to start off this broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Full Gear is starting off the exact right way.
V-trigger avoided. Standing switch, German suplex.
Watch out!
Whoa!
That's the second shot in about 30 seconds.
Hangman
Kenny
lands on his feet once again. Discus elbow from Omega. Snapdragon.
There you go.
Could be the beginning of the end.
Hangman rolls
God, what a counter.
Maybe
What a
not.
counter. It could be over right here, Omega.
Page has him up. Deadeye. Covers one, two, no!
It was the right leg that was not secured that shot up in the air that kept the match going.
If he'd had that, I think we would have seen Adam Page get the win.
The legs were not neutralized, as we are explaining. It was such a key point in the pinning situation here.
Referee Paul Turner doing a great job checking on the status of Kenny Omega. Is he still in this fight? And Don, the heart of Kenny Omega says no quit, but the body might be a different story.
Yeah, he's running on instinct right now. And I don't know why Hangman Page is hesitating. Maybe he's going to set him up now for the buckshot.
That appears to be what Hangman has in mind, but Kenny, you know he's got to anticipate it. Yes, he does.
Crucifix.
No, instead rolls through. Hangman sits down. One, two.
Look here.
Oh!
Man, that was a deep stack. I can tell you that right now.
That looked like a 3 from here.
Yeah.
2.999, a hair's breadth separating Paul Turner's hand from that canvas on that 3 count.
Closer than 19 is to 20, Tony.
Right. And again, these two know each other so well. It's been the amazing thing about this. He saw the buckshot lariat coming. Kenny did.
Kenny with his back turned.
And he better know it now.
Oh, the boot comes through the ropes once again. Dragon screw in the ropes.
Man, that's nasty. That is dirty and evil.
You got the torque of the dragon screw, but then using that rope as a leverage point makes it worse. That knee might be compromised now on Adam Page.
Yeah, puts a lot more pressure on the tendons, the ligaments of that knee. Hangman Page!
Wow.
Bang with the trigger. Bang again!
Oh, that was flush.
He's got him.
Right,
He's got him.
Right on the jawline, Tony.
He needs to try to pin him here. Here we go. One-winged angel, maybe it's what he's trying for.
He hoists him up, does Kenny Omega.
Omega
He gets the head. It'll be over. Come on.
Page is keeping his head away from Omega's.
Oh!
Well, at least he was. Wow, what a fight. What a damn fight. Omega wins it.
The winner of this match and #1 contender for the AEW World Title, Kenny Omega.
That one literally could have gone either way at any time, guys. What a match.
Tremendous amount of hand fighting by Hangman Adam Page. He knew the one-winged angel was coming. He knew what jeopardy he was in. But Kenny Omega proved on this night he was the better man.
Sort of looked like Page had a little something figured out of that one-winged angel by moving his head around like a fighter would move in a boxing match. But he couldn't hide his head.
Yeah, he fought all the way down here. Look at that.
Yeah.
All it took was that one last final clutch by Kenny Omega. As soon as he realized he had it hooked in, he dropped Page and he won the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament.
Extremely physical match here to kick off Full Gear at Daly's Place in Jacksonville over the Jags.
What an emotional night for that young man. He's heard the whispers. He's heard the shouts. He answered tonight, guys.
Omega is right back in the picture that he wanted to be in since he got here. Since the day he walked in the door, he was expected as this big-time player to be the guy.
And Tony Schiavone,
he has not been the guy yet.
Kenny Omega will be paying very close attention to our main event here tonight.